Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. In addition to the 365 tips, I'm going to show you real life examples, some recipes I make, and how I sometimes just throw things together to kind of get what I want. So, one of the things that you can do is learn your spices, your flavor palettes, and what you like. So, I really like a lot of your Mexican flavors. I'm not a huge fan of cumin though, which is ironic because they use it in a lot of things in Mexican dishes. So I have some leftover of the chicken from when I got like 26 and a half pounds of chicken for 99 cents a pound. So I have some of that left over, and I have some of the broth left over. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm going to have to freeze it or make something. And I really am not in a soup mood. So I decided instead I'm going to make some chicken tacos. So I'm going to kind of throw all the flavors together that I like. And I'll kind of like watch it develop per se. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you towards the pan so I can show you what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to start warming up the wok. I know there's some water left in from washing it, but I'm feeling lazy today. So, tablespoon of oil. Let that kind of heat up. And then once that gets hot, I will put some onions in it. I like to keep my onions pre-diced so that they're easy to grab. Normally, it's closer to a mince, but... Okay, also be careful if you combine water and oil in a pan, because it really is a hazard, but sometimes I am just willing to live on edge. So you can see all the water kind of popping out of the oil and making it want to spatter. Then I'm going to just put some onion in. Let that kind of saute for a while. Turn down the heat. I didn't realize I still had the heat up. So I kind of want the onion to be sauteed till it is until it is can't think of the word, caramelized. I want to at least sweat them. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to put actual seasoning on my chicken. I'm going to start out, this is just my seasoning mix that still has the paprika in it. And then I'm going to throw some adobo on there. I do not like how my onions are cooking, but that's okay because life doesn't have to be perfect, because life isn't perfect. Put a clove of garlic in there. Once you can start to smell the garlic, which should be almost instantaneous, you're going to want to add the chicken that I've seasoned and cooked. And kind of let it saute in there for a minute. I'm cooking on propane, and I don't know if I like the way this new wok interacts. So when you're cooking with propane, there are some challenges, to say the least. I need some liquid, so I'm going to start out with about a cup of broth. And then I'm going to let that come to a boil. Now I'm going to mix in more of my seasonings. So Sazon is very colorful. Like, I think it's got a natto or something in it. And it, you know, turns everything. You can see like this orangish color. So I frequently will wait until the liquid's added and add it to the liquid. It's just a little bit easier. And then if I want a little bit spicy, I didn't want it that spicy, but it is what it is. Add a little chili powder. And then, of course, some lime juice. I normally use fresh lime juice, but today, but lately I've been using the squeeze thing because I got it on sale. And it's just easier than pulling out the reamer or whatever it's called every time. So now you can see, I mean, this is almost ready to make chicken tacos or chicken nachos or whatever it is that I choose to make. So I'm going to let it kind of cook a little bit more. And I kind of want to kind of see how the flavoring is without. It's very chickeny. Obviously, chicken is chickeny. But I'm tasting the chicken broth over any of the seasonings. I can also taste the garlic. And I'm not tasting any spice yet, so I'm going to add a little more chili powder. You can obviously add like cayenne pepper instead. I mean, whatever you have. Like, you don't have to go out and buy chili powder. I just happen to have chili powder conveniently located. I think I also do have cayenne, but and it wasn't very limey, so I'm going to add some more lime juice. I really do like that citrus flavor. Probably should have waited on the heat because I'm now tasting that heat on the back of my tongue. Also, if you're doing this in a metal pan, be very careful. Like, metal's not touching metal, so. I think I want just a little salsa. You can also kind of do it by smell. I feel like it looks like it's the right texture. I'm going to taste the broth one more time. Okay, so the flavor's where I want it. But if you keep ingredients that you use on a regular basis and start to learn your flavor palette or preferences, or I don't know how you want to say it, but if you start to learn which spices you like, you definitely can easily turn leftovers into a different meal. So today I took some leftover chicken broth. I still have more chicken broth. The leftover chicken, some lime juice I already had, and some seasoning, and oh, and some onion because I keep onion diced, and turned it into chicken for chicken tacos. I mean, maybe you prefer a chicken verde to this. I really like this kind of a. I really like the Sazan, which I think is where I'm going with this. And I also like the color it does. I don't know. It's a psychological thing probably. But I now have meat for tacos. So I feel like that's kind of a huge benefit there. And I can make tacos. So I'm going to pause while I get this plated and I'll show you the tacos. Okay, so I made myself a little snack. I just have the tortillas, the low carb tortillas, the chicken that I made, and some cotija. Simple, easy, really affordable. And now I have leftover chicken to make my kid more nachos tomorrow and use up the other ingredients like that. So today's tip for frugal living is learn your spices and know which spices you like and how they go together, because if you do, you can really diversify your leftovers, and leftovers can save you money because whatever you spent to cook that meal initially, you can think of it as dividing up that cost now, or you can think of it as a free meal. Either way, you're keeping it out of the landfill, you're keeping money in your pocket, you're not having to go and buy ingredients for a new meal. And spices, when you think about it, spices are relatively cheap in the quantities you use. Like even saffron, like the most ridiculously expensive spice in the world, when you only use a little bit, it's not that much per serving. So learn what spices you like, learn what spices combine well together, and learn your flavor palette, so and your families. And that way you can make leftovers more interesting. Anyways, I'm going to go eat my tacos. Thank y'all and have a great night.